What's going on, guys? My name is Nick and welcome back to Olsen Auto. Today we're going to be heading out to a little car meet picture group thing. Not really sure what to call it, but I was told about it by a friend who has a Lexus. I forget which kind of Lexus it is. IS 300, a newer one, maybe. Not too sure. Before we do anything like that, we gotta go wash this car because it is absolutely filthy. I mean, look at my wheels. So yeah, the whole car is filthy. It's covered in salt. Gotta love living in New England, so gonna go wash this, clean the wheels. I gotta find my wheel brush. Hopefully the car wash works. It wasn't yesterday, but yeah, gotta wash this and then hopefully make it to Warwick. I've been bottoming out everywhere. I feel like the car is lowering itself, but I could be wrong. Woo. Damn it.
Police pull me over, they ain't got nothing to say. I told them I got tests because I'm rich, they said okay. Gotta pray a lot, niggas get shot up every day. Ay, hold up, what the fuck I'm supposed to say? Police pull me over, they ain't got nothing to say. I told them I got tents because I'm rich, they said okay. Ay, gotta pray a lot, niggas get shot up every day. Ay, heard you got a big body but a little face. Ay, got a 41 bezel, it's 100K. Ay, if I feel a way, then I'm gon' say it to your face. Ay, if I put a block today, I make 100K.
So I just realized I had my camera set on the wrong mode. I hope it wasn't set to linear for my motovlog, because if it was, it's gonna be a garbage motovlog. In any case, I just finished washing up the car. It looks pretty good. I know the angle changing is a little abrupt, but we're gonna head out. We're gonna start driving. It shouldn't take that long to get there, but I might be a little late, so let's just get going. So we made it to Warwick, which is where the show slash meet slash photo shoot slash driving thing is being hosted. This is actually where I used to live, so it's kind of a throwback to be here, but it's about a mile away, so I'll update you guys when we get there. Well, I officially have the slowest car here, but
You still got speed.
just a hint of carbon.
Probably are. I know this is nice. Yeah, so I was gonna get these ones.
Gonna work on the XL. That was yesterday. It's the next day. And this is what we're doing. Oh boy. That is, technically speaking, the first time I've driven the Prelude since a few weeks, which is really sad. I miss this car a lot. Just getting dirty and gross. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna take the head that's sitting in the engine bay out. Let me show you guys that. So to clean up the garage a little bit, what I did was I put the head of the car back in the engine bay. Now I put it back in the engine bay, like I said, just to get some space in the garage to work on some other projects in the meantime. So we gotta pull this out, we gotta pull out the VAD valve, make sure everything is all set on the inside. Hopefully Hopefully the head's not cracked or anything, because I don't want to have to use the new head or the new old head. But if I do, it's not the end of the world. So I'm gonna pull that valve out, make sure everything's all set, take this head out, take the other head out, and do some inspection, and then hopefully get a new valve in the head and maybe start putting the head back on today. Got some coolant lines to replace and some bolts that I messed up the first time, but after fixing all that, we should be all set. So under the engine bay here, as you can see, got the old piston doodly hoos piece of the head gasket that almost fell in an oil galley. I guess that's cool. So yeah, like some of these hoses down here, like this one, super gross and rotted and soft and no good. This one's super dry and gross. This one's too wet and gross. I'm not going to put the head back on and then try to replace the hoses that sit under the head. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm gonna replace these hoses before I put the head back on. Gonna do all the cleaning up and maintenance and any fixes while the head is off that I can, because obviously there's more space in the engine bay. Gotta do that. I have to fix this because your boy put the wrong bell housing bolts up here. Throw some washers behind it and call her good. Yeah, like I said, fix any hoses, wiring issues, whatever I see while I'm back here. And then we're gonna throw the head back on. I'm gonna go show you guys the head right now. So here's the head off of the car, and if you guys notice, that valve right there has a massive hole in it. Obviously that's less than ideal. That's the valve we got to replace. Now somehow I drove it home like 8 miles or 7 or 8 miles on that broken valve and it didn't blow itself up. That's a miracle, but in any case, let's just find the valve string compressor, pop that valve out, and get to work. Typical Ford. So as you'll notice, there's a drain pan with about a mouthful of coolant in it, and the ground has most of the coolant, replacing one of the upper radiator hoses on the 400 big block here. And well, still had some pressure in it. So got the valve and spring removed. As you guys can see, there's a massive chunk missing out of that valve. So we were using a valve string compressor from Harbor Freight, but it really doesn't work well with this head. Again, I'd want to test it out on some other heads to see how it works. So since the Prelude springs are like crazy soft, we literally just use a socket with a little notch cut out of it, basically an O2 socket. Yeah, so use an O2 socket, pushed down on the washer up top, used a magnet to grab out the keepers, and pulled it right apart as you do. So yeah, that hole is huge. That thing is destroyed. Now we're going to grab the exact same valve out of the other head, make sure it is the exact same valve, and compare it. I also want to find out where that chunk went. So I'm probably going to pop off the manifold, maybe. I don't know, because that ain't coming out. So this is a valve. It's the exact same valve, not that it matters, but it's the exact same valve from the same area on the spare head. Just cleaned it up on the wire wheel a little bit. Gonna go ahead and grab some lapping compound. It doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty solid. Gotta lap this to the head. Gotta get some heavy grit and some fine grit. These are the springs and retainers from this head, which is what we're using. Gonna blow this out, lap it, send it on. And so I just went out to O'Reilly's, grabbed some hoses so I can replace all the old ones that I found. Also grabbed some lapping compound and the lapper itself. Just a little suction cup thing that sticks to the valve so you can mate the surface of the valve to the head so that you don't have any compression leaks. So this is the valve. This is the lapping compound. Now I'm not gonna be using that lapping tool. I'm actually gonna put this over the end of the valve just because the lapping tool didn't work. I'm going to return it, get my money back. We're going to apply this all around the valve, just completely coat it. So this is what we're looking at. As you guys can see, that color difference. You can see that fresh metal exposed right there. That's essentially what we're looking for when lapping the valves, is to get two perfectly identical surfaces so that there's no compression leaking by, which is why I had to pull the head off in the first place, because the valve ended up breaking and we had leaking compression. So the idea is that now with these two perfect surfaces and not a cracked valve, we should have good compression, hopefully. Now the next step is probably to just do it one more time just to be extra sure, and then put the valve in, put the spring on, clean up the head gasket surface. Blow it all out first, obviously clean the surface, see if we can find that chunk of missing piece. My guess is it's in the exhaust, or it might be in the manifold, or hopefully not, but possibly somewhere in the EGR. So we're gonna check all of that. So blow it out, clean it out, find that missing chunk of valve to make sure it's not recirculating in the engine. So with the valve all lapped, I ran it down one more time. I have the compressor building up some air. I'm gonna blow out the head. I already brake cleaned it. Obviously got to clean the head gasket surface as well, so keep the compressor plugged in and going. What we're gonna do now is blow it all out, and then I'm gonna shake around the exhaust to see if I can find that little chunk. If I can't, and I'm probably gonna blow out the block too, although it's gonna blow coolant everywhere, so maybe not. But blow out the head, get the head gasket surface all ready on both the block and the head itself, and then yeah, just keep going from there. Head surface is looking nice and refinished. Check out that shine. Now you have to do the same under the hood to the block. So I finished up, and bullet heater's kind of loud. I finished up cleaning up the head surface. I actually bought this head gasket way back when the flywheel fell off because I thought I'd have to rebuild the other motor. So technically, I've only spent like, I think $13 on this rebuild so far, which is pretty baller, and I could have gotten away with it for free if I knew someone with a lapping compound, if we had some old stuff, but bought some new lapping compound, so it's whatever. I cleaned up the pistons as well, just so I could make sure they were all mint. Cleaned up the cylinder walls, put some hoses on. As you guys can see, got all these fresh new hoses. Those new hoses are gonna be good because the old ones are dry rotted, crusty, and nasty. I also just got word that the hoodies are in, so if you guys wanna pick one up, be sure to comment down below. Let me know, guys. I take Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all that stuff. I'll make a full video on that, and I'm also gonna show you guys the hoodies in the next video. But let's go ahead, let's get the head gasket on, let's get this all situated, drop the head on, and keep pushing forward. We probably won't hear it run tonight, but we'll be super close. So the head is officially back on with the new head gasket. Now what I just did, and of course I did that off camera, I actually just went over with a wire wheel on the bench grinder and cleaned up all the threads of the new head bolts. And the way I was able to get the head on with the gasket was I made my own head stud. I grabbed the old bolts from my spare engine, cut the top off, put them into the block, and then used them as like alignment pins, put the gasket on top of it, and it went great. So now with those cleaned up, I'm gonna put a tiny bit of oil in the thread so that it doesn't seize to the block. Obviously that would suck, because I know this is gonna have to come apart again, either when I go to build it for more power, or when something like this happens. In any case, I wanna make sure it's all set. So what I'm gonna do there, I'm gonna put a little bit of oil around the threads, just like a light coating, and I'm gonna send those all in. I'm gonna send the spark plugs in, torque down the head, and then I'll be done for the night. This, in case you're wondering, is how you do an engine rebuild. Now, of course, you should have a chrome socket for your impact, but we're gonna do it proper today. Alright, with that one extra torqued, we got however many others to go. I'm sure there's a sequence that I don't care about. For those of you that were wondering, yes, that was a joke. I have my torque wrench here. It's set to 50 foot-pounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do it. Alright, they're all torqued down. I actually did 50 instead of 49 foot-pounds because I like to round up. Extra secure head gasket. Gonna go ahead, check them all over one more time in sequence, make sure they're all set, and then probably be done for the night because it is freezing. And for those of you that don't know, always make sure you undo your torque wrench when you're done. You don't want your spring to wear out and start reading incorrectly. Not that this one reads correctly, considering it's from Harbor Freight, but it's close. Probably. Hopefully. So, with the head on and torqued to sequence, tomorrow is going to be the big day. We'll hopefully get this thing running in time. All that fun stuff. I'm going to end this video here. I got to put spark plugs in these cylinders so it's actually a sealed engine. But if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button. I know it started off in a different direction and kind of went somewhere else, but I like where it went. The head's back on. Super stoked for that. Hopefully we don't have any issues in the future. But like I said, if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my future content. I upload moto vlogs, dirt bike racing, street bike racing, building cars, all the fun stuff. So if you like that, be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you're working on down in the comments below. But like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Uh-oh, I can't get out. Uh-oh. Ow. Ow.